Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to request Ms. Emori to start a keynote address. Ms. Emori has been organizer of the Raise Girls in Tokyo 2013. In 2015, she launched another Raise Girls Japan, which is supporting the Raise Girls and domestic organization. Since then, she has been supporting many events programs of Raise Girls. She has been the judge of the junior and senior high school student and international Ruby programming contest. And her book is Let's Take a Walk, and let's take a first step to Ruby on Rails. And she talks about a decade in Ruby community. This is the title. Ms. Emori, please. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everybody. I would like to start my keynote address. Firstly, my self-introduction. My name is Emori. I am the executive and officer in KCS Carrot Limited. The development is actually outsourced to a company, 72 employees. About 30 of the employees are now women. Almost all engineers are programming engineers, the development work. When it comes to the recruitment, some new graduates who have not no experience of the programming are joining, and the C++ and 3 months education is provided. After that, they come to my group. In my group, Ruby dedicated and development work, 15 members are working under my supervision. So it is my team. I joined this company as a graduate, and I did not have any programming. But since then, I have been working through my career. It is not my career development of Ruby, but I might touch upon it. The first time I joined the Ruby event, that was in 2010, when the RubyWorld conference was held. And it was actually in September, according to the Japanese legend, in October. There is actually Japanese guardian. And Asakusa B was the next one. I joined that too. In 2013, Raise Girls Tokyo, third organizer, was actually my role. In 2015, as a member of the Raise Girls Japan, I provided support for various programs of Rails Girls. This year, I started a new programming contest internationally for the junior and senior high school students. That is World International Ruby Programming Contest. This one is a book for the introduction of the Ruby. Rails Girls workshop is doing this sort of things. So this was published in April this year. Rails Girls Japan members was actually my co-author. I have brought some samples, some copies with me today. Therefore, if you are interested, please let me know. I would like to show you the copy. Emori House is also run. It is my project as well. Ruby Kaigi is domestically held every year. It is held during that Kaigi conference, and we actually plan and implement the let's stay in the same hotel together. And in Naha, in Naha next year it will be held, and this year it was Matsumoto. We are now preparing for the next and forthcoming ones. 30 years foundation. Congratulations to all of you for the successful development of Ruby. Without Ruby, what could happen? I would not be standing in front of you to give some lecture, and if I had not encountered Ruby, my engineer life would be different. I am enjoying programming. I love it. Not only programming, I have learned to enjoy my life better. Probably without Ruby, without that encounter, I would not have learned. When I joined the 25th anniversary live, I could not actually be with you because of some live was there. But in front of an audience, and Matsumoto-san, it is my great honor to say congratulations. Raise Girls Tokai is actually the organization for which I'm working organizer 10 years since. Personally, I am actually experiencing and congratulating, celebrating this 10th anniversary personally as well. So I would like to think about what I can do, but then I am given this opportunity to talk about the Ruby community. I am very pleased. Ruby Conference 15th anniversary, congratulations. Ruby World Conference has been implemented for the last 15 years. And in 2010, I came here for the first time. I visited Shimane Prefecture for the first time. In 2011, there was actually the Japanese earthquake. Therefore, I was more involved in that disaster mitigation, the earthquake mitigation program. However, at any rate, and since 2010, I have been joining this program and having been in Matsue, and I think some of the winners I joined, and I got Matsumoto-san signed. And I always put it in my home and just beside on my table. And so if you have it, you will have some good luck, I'm sure. Matsumoto-san's signature is here. That was actually the amenity I got through the lottery. Because of this program and the conference, I came to learn about Shimane. This is the third time I learn about Shimane because whenever there is an opportunity, I would like to come here. So this is the third trip to Shimane. There are some people joining this one offline, so I would like to recommend the Shimane journey so that you can enjoy various corners of Shimane. I'm afraid that some of you might have booked a train for going back and home. I would like to recommend the spas located in here. This is the map of and Matsue Shinji Spa is the nearest one. You can have a day trip, and Tamatsukuri Spa is also another one. So you can actually go there by bus. And if you take taxi, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 yen, you can go to reach in Tamatsukuri Spa. If you have got some time available today, please take that opportunity. It was a rather hot night last night, wasn't it? In Matsue. In Shimane, there are various and wonderful things, and they're very delicious food. And I like Shimaneko. That's very, very, very good. Well, around that time, I saw that dance, and before that, and I had a chance, and I enjoyed meeting them again. Shimaneko is a character of this local community. The crab is famous, and the seafood is famous, and the Japanese sake is famous, and the Shimaneko is loved by many visitors and by many people in local community. Now let me talk about the substantive part of my talk. My company is actually the company providing outsourcing services. We are commissioned to provide some certain service and on a commission basis. So programming language is not chosen by us suddenly out of blue. Some customers said to us, and next month, please start to use Ruby. So that was my encounter. I used to be very familiar with C++, and the PHP was also experienced. For 6 months PHP writing I did. Until then, therefore, when I think about programming, there was no right to choose the languages. There was no particular attachment to C++ and PHP because the customers decided which language should be used. With regard to the way of writing programming, there was not a particularly strong instruction. So I couldn't have a very good freedom, but that the customer asked me to start Ruby programming. I found that Ruby is very, very easy to use, and easy writing is assured. How do I say? Why do I say so? Until then, before the variables this mark should be there, dollar mark should be input. I was wondering why. And the suffix, why is there always semicolon? I was wondering, and there was no clear answer. Semicolon is need to be entered after pressing that shift. Therefore, that my middle finger on the right hand side was rather strained strongly. Whichever project I was there, I was writing almost sorting only. and the short and the processing and the short processing wherever I am working, because Ruby has gotten a sorting, and I was really impressed that Ruby offers that particular function. For the first time, I came across the short setting program. Until then, the test items were prepared by the computation template. Program is developed after that, and using that enter key should be actually clicked, and so that we create test items before implementing test. And after the completion, okay, the development is one party and testing was by the other. So that was an usual course of my work. However, by writing test program, we could actually write testing things, and while the development is still underway in the same page. And also I could use text editor, which I like, for writing the testing. Therefore programming is easy, and so testing writing is also easy. I was impressed and I was moved. For about 6 months, and I got some qualification. 20,000 lines were written by me. When I finished that project, and I loved Ruby very much, I would say I write anything by Ruby, and I encountered Ruby community and the major figures. Yesterday, Matsumoto-san gave a keynote address. What is Ruby community? This is a definition. Ruby programming has gotten a community in the surrounding area. Whatever skill level you have gotten, they feel comfortable. That is a definition of the Ruby community. What is in there? What are in there? So engineers do have the local and regional community meetup, and is held regularly. Asakusa RB is one I belong to, and in Shimane Prefecture, Matsue RB. And in the western part, Hamada RB is also existing. Apart from them, there are other organizations to which you belong. I didn't prepare the list of comprehensive, exhaustive list, but in each region and area, there are local communities. If you don't find anyone existing, you can create and launch your new local community. Rails Girls is present. It is for the unexperienced programming, those people who are interested in programming but not yet done. And so we provide some introductory course. In the Ruby community, I joined under their programs, and there was some trigger given to me. In the Ruby conference, and I presented, and that person said to me, Asakusa Ruby is in Tokyo. And I said, it sounds fun, and I will go and see. That was a first community participation on my side, and I could meet many people with different background, but they were all talking about the programming. That was very, very striking impression. I was very moved, and it was a very fresh experience. They were made only, so I felt a bit of outside feeling during the program was convened, and I was wondering. So maybe people found that I was peculiar and a bit weird person. And there had not been information. The Ruby mailing list and give us more information. You can search more, given some triggers. I was admiring Nakata-san, and Nakata-san, that is really superb. So, and Nakata-san was actually sitting next to me. I knew that Nakata-san's autograph, but I did not realize Nakata-san, and many people were calling Nakata-san and Nakata-san. So I found that that person was really Nakata-san, whom I admire. That was really fascinating moment. I could find many Rubyists with whom I could have a talk. Until participating in that program and function, I talked about Ruby with employees of my company, and I had a chance to talk with them. But when it comes to programming, and so writing programming, not so many chances were available. But in that community with Rubyist, I could talk about how to write. What is being done in community? Some people are interested, but they don't know what is done. This is a RubyWorld conference, and there are many things are presented. It is actually sharing opportunity of whatever you have created. Sometimes and I have the reading session, and there are many programs done in various parties in development, and you might have some barriers, difficulties, and you can share them with other Rubyists as well. In the Ruby community, and a lot of sharing about what I love, the hobby. So in the sponsor booth, and the keyboards were placed, and you wondered why keyboard. This is a Ruby conference, but then actually the self-made keyboards seems to be quite popular these days. One day before this meeting, and the self-made keyboard and the conference was held. On the YouTube, you can find the video clip and see how things are getting on in that keyboard and meeting. What was fun? Aaron Pattonson was is a committer, a Ruby committer. And you know that some of them started giggling. So the automotive and gears were used, and they are used as a keyboard, and the editor, a shift and a change is done by the automotive drive. And he was talking about what he was doing in his approach. And you might be actually viewed that, but you can see what it is. And Rubik Cube is also loved by many people.
This is Kendama. The other day in Asakusa Ruby meeting, so-called Oedo Ruby Kaigi, we had a reception and we went to Asakusa Hana Yashiki. So that was occupied only by us. And there was a person who was enjoying Kendama only. And we all practiced Kendama, and that was fun. So everyone can enjoy whatever they wanted to do. So I think that was really the great thing about Ruby community. So this, to summarize about the Ruby community, I think people who are the members of the Ruby community enjoy Ruby and enjoy other things too. And some people can be careless, like leaving purse somewhere and come to the meeting without a purse. I also have such kind of experience. But everyone is concerned about that person who lost purse, the money, and everyone's happy to help and support. I think this was kind of the warm feeling flowing in the community. That is how and why I like Ruby. So not only the program is great, but the people around the program all nice. And I think the people joining the Ruby community are so lovable and nice people. So Ruby can be just human programming, but by knowing the Rubies, the people in the Ruby community, I started to enjoy more and more. However, I feel a little bit out of place because there are less women, as Maeda-san pointed out. The number of ladies still small. So it's difficult for a lady to participate alone by herself. So probably because of that, there are less number of women. When I went to the Ruby meeting community for the first time, I was asked which company I worked for. And back then, the number of the company using Ruby was very small. So that was an opportunity, a trigger of starting a conversation. So I wonder why people kept asking my affiliation, which company I worked for. So I think if Ruby can be used in all the companies, then people do not ask which community you work for. I think probably that's something we can think about in future. And I might have being asked about my affiliation because I'm a lady, so I hope the number of ladies will increase. So before and after joining the Ruby community, there was a big difference. And Matsumoto-san, for me, it's a celebrity. I saw his name on the web article, but it was amazing experience to meet Matsumoto-san, who is a developer of the programming language I use. So I thought it's a big world and I never thought about encountering him. However, after joining Ruby community, I talked with a lot of people, and I went to various meetings and occasions. That was fun, and I had the opportunity to meet Matsumoto-san himself, and I started learn Ruby or in writing Rails. I read blogs and I met the author of the blog or developer of the program. So I was very happy to see such people and feel that it's a small world. So my value have been changed after joining the community. So if you do not know the community, you consider it's a huge, but when I joined the community, I felt it's a small world. So I enjoy participating in various events. Then one day, I think you may know about this. There was a Tokyo Ruby Kaigi. So this was a Ruby Kaigi. It's a local Ruby community meeting. You can drink beer as much as you want. And we enjoy ramen. And we talked with two Ruby committers, and Uraken-san and Tani-san. On different timing, they asked, "Aren't you interested in Rails girls?" I was surprised because Ruby committers are developers of the Ruby, so I thought they were interested in development on the programming, and I never thought they would be interested in community. So I was very surprised, and it was a pleasant surprise that they asked us whether or not I was interested in community. So I was very happy to be invited to the Rails Girls, and also I was very glad to know that these people were interested in communities too. And I joined Rails Girls. What we are doing in Rails Girls is as follows. So we provide the tools and community for ladies, and basic knowledge about making web application can be shared, and how to make technology and idea into shape that are shared to ladies. And you can encounter coaches who instruct them. Then you can have a connection relationship, and you can join community. Right now, Ruby's Girls were held 67 times in Shimane Prefecture. It was held 4 times in Matsue. Well, talking about that, tomorrow, Rails Girls Matsue, the 5th occasion, will be held at Matsue Open Source Laboratory in front of the station after 5 years of interval. So Matsue will be a big city for Rails Girls, and I hope that new people will join us. And I have been working as an organizer for Rails Girls. And for the first time, I became an organizer side, host side. There are a lot of things I have to prepare. And in case of the RubyWorld conference, there are lunch box and a lot of preparation. I think it's hard to be ready for the meeting. And we need people who have the know-how of how to host the event or meeting. Therefore, in the area with a Ruby community existing, it might be very difficult to have a big meeting without people who have know-how about how to hold the event. So I have to make a lot of consideration about coaching or the participants, and like engineers speak very fast, they explain too fast, and that is the case with me too. And if you speak too fast, then people will be embarrassed, and there's no way for you to communicate everything in limited time. So the tips for presentation actually shared. And beforehand, before the meeting, that kind of tips should be shared. And I think the environment can be built up in a successful way so that the meeting will be productive one for everyone. As to Rails Girls, already 67 times it was held. And it's now prevalent. In 2015, Rails Girls Japan, that the Japan organization established. So in Odaiba, Ruby Kaigi was held in Odaiba, and Kakutani-san, Shimada-san was with us, and they said that Rails Girls Japan will be established. Aren't you interested? And I said yes. I became a member for Rails Girls Japan. What we did was the Rails Girls meeting cannot be held without companies in the areas where the companies working with Ruby do not exist. So we need a coach and a fund and staff are necessary. Therefore, in order to support that kind of thing, Rails Girls Japan was established. I became a member for that. When I look back, what I did was I went to various places because I thought it's fun. And I just was asked by many people, are you interested? And I said yes, and I started a lot of things. So I did not show any strong initiative from myself, but I became a member of Rails Girls Japan, a Rails Girls organizer. I recognized I'm already here at this point. That's my impression so far. So, women's community was established in 2015, and Rails Girls Japan activities started, and there are various women's community for various languages started to be active. So, only women, like organizers and participants, so only women can participate. Then there are a lot of opinions and criticism, like limiting to women can be a kind of the reverse discrimination, or women's community may be very low in technological capability. And we do not mean to discriminate against men, but some people are not happy about women's community, women-only community. Therefore, we have so-called affirmative action in our activity rules. So unconsciously, both for men and men, the role may be defined. Role for men might be defined by everyone unconsciously. So we came up with affirmative action. Lean In is a very well-known book. I think you have already read this kind of book. And unconsciously, women may act like this. When I read this book, I strongly agreed on this. So unconsciously, I stepped back. That's what I did. So by recognizing this, we can change our attitude. So I think this is very important book, valuable book to recognize what we are doing. So I think women should read this book. By reading this, we can think, okay, on this occasion, we tend to step back. And men can also read it. And men can recognize this woman is stepping back, so men can encourage her to go ahead. So I think correction in attitude is very important. And as a Rails Girls Japan, this has been one of the initiatives we are working for. Then when it comes to the women's community, the women become majority, not minority anymore. Then women-only event can be held. Then on such occasion, we may be a little bit criticizing the men, or we may want to compete with men. So it's a kind of a parallel line between men and women. So we wonder what diversity is. So we should not be on parallel all the time. So I think we need to have a community in which everyone can join. So this is not a community to compete with men. So that's a kind of the different feeling I had. However, I would like to say that we have only one Ruby community. So in order to have Rails Girls event, we need male engineer and members of the Ruby communities. With them participating as a coach and staff, we can have a successful meeting. So not in the local Ruby community, they can know each other. In the women's Ruby community, then people can have a good connection each other. And the Ruby community is not something to separate between men and women. And we want to emphasize that we are all one team. So my ambition, and I hope that in future people may say that the Rails Girls is not necessary, because Rails Girls is not necessary because there are already women participating in local Ruby community. So that is a great word we are aiming at.
I joined one local community meeting. It's called Buri Kaigi, not really about Ruby, but it is actually that yellowtail eating meeting. It was a conference. 78 members got together to enjoy the flavor of yellowtail. And there was an actually reception, and in that hotel we actually stayed there. And so Ruby members 5, and also those female participants. I said that there is a very delicious fish available. Why don't we go to the restaurant? And many people are actually attracted. In total, 6 people went to that restaurant, and Matsui LB meeting, and was in summer this year, and one of my friends joined and participating in that. One person is Rail Girls and host and hostess, and other Rail Girls were coming to those meetings last summer. But the point is that the number of women is limited, so we need to make particular effort to increase the female participants. We would like to have a larger population. So this is actually when I actually entice them to come to the yellowtail eating meeting, and then it is delicious. So why don't we go to that buri meeting? Buri is a yellowtail in Japanese. And so if it is 0, nothing will happen. So 0 should be turned to 1 in the first place. And when 1 is there, people actually feel that there is a possibility of expanding that population, maybe infinitely. Then, even you have got a larger population, maybe many people, many women come to join that, participate in the program more often and on a regular basis. It is about Emori House. During the Ruby meeting, and we had a program for women to get together and also stay in the same hotel, because it seems to be fun. It was a great joy until 2015. Ruby Kaigi was in the Tokyo metropolitan area. I could have a day trip, but in 2016, the location became Kyoto. And I came to realize that some people came from outside Tokyo metropolitan area, and I found that those people are staying in the business hotel on their own. So in Kyoto, many students go there. It is one popular destination for school excursion. And then I thought, why don't we get together and stay in the same hotel among the women? We could have a lot of pillow fighting and also lots of fun. I had some acquaintances and friends and 5 Ruby member and other friends, and I said to them, why don't we go to Kyoto and also stay in the same hotel? And it was realized. In the tourist destination, there are Japanese inn, but in Sendai there is none. So we rented a guest house, so that the whole house, the building is for the members. Even you are on your own, and also you are a woman, and it is okay for the time. But where are you having lunch? And will you will you be eating on your own? And a drink-up party might be in the evening. Are you sure that you can go there on your own? Maybe most of the participants and also the members are mails. But if we are getting together in the same hotel, we can go there in a group. Some people were actually not in good condition and then staying some hours in the bed. But then after that, I found that person dancing in the dancing floor. And then people were enjoying the drinking party. When I went back to home. If you were on your own, things would be closed and you would be isolated, and the business hotel would be just a mundane place without so much joy. But if you stay in that hotel together with your group members, you can enjoy more fun and more opportunities to get together with others. And this house is already booked, Emori.house, and the site is updated. So this is the most up-to-date information for 2024. The location is Okinawa. The venue is in Okinawa. You have to travel to Okinawa probably. Of course, ferry service is available to get to Okinawa. I would like to know how many are thinking about going to that Okinawa Ruby Kaigi in 2024. If you are interested, please let me know. Now I would like to talk about the book. In 2019, I was offered to write and publish some book. And you said that the publication was in April this year, wasn't it? And while eating while writing that text that the version was up, Rails communicated with me. That person was participating Rails girls and functions. Through that experience, that person became very interested in IT. While university student, another person joined this and then attracted to the IT industry, and the IT books and publisher was actually the place where the person started to work. As a newcomer, they had the training, and the Rails girls was actually presented by the person. It is actually newly joining employees' presentation or proposal to the publication that was realized. And I started to think about some woman when I met. I went to that Oshino live, and I was staying in a guest house, and where I met that particular lady. 20 years old, so she almost looked like a teenager. Not maybe so woman. And I said, are you interested in programming? And she said, no, I can't do anything about programming. It is definitely not possible. And graduating from the senior high, she comes to the guest house, and in the town next to her own hometown. She's in the early part of her 20s, but she definitely said that she could not do about the programming. What was she actually told by others and in the neighborhood and in the local community, and then as a result, she said, I can't do that. Programming is just the last thing I can do, because that remark was quite straightforward. But I wanted to write some book which enticed those people to think that they might be able to do something about the programming. They said, no, I can't. And if I say to those people, why don't you come to Rail Girls? Maybe it is not so easily digested, but if there is a book, and if she happens to read it, and by reading that, her sentiment might be gradually changed to think that she could do that. So among your neighborhood or the community, whatever, maybe you find somebody who says, I don't think I can do that. And if you find such a person, could you please talk about this book? By encountering Ruby, my values and also sentiment changed. I came to change my mindset, and the community activities are very, very important to me. And even if careless person, it's okay, because there are many careless person in the Ruby community. They forget to bring the wallets when traveling. I have been invited by many people, and I found that it might be fun. And they started to do that, and I am here standing in front of you. Therefore, I would like to do the same so that this community and networking can be nice, inviting people for this new innovative world. And this is fun, so why can't we use it and do it in our own day-to-day work? When I was welcoming newly joining employees, and I say something. We have 24 hours, everybody, and 8 hours for sleeping. Half of the time when we are up, you have to dedicate that time to work. So half of that life, and when you are up and awake, and will be actually dedicated to work. Now, if that work and is of some fun, you would be happy. If there is something pleasant, please do come to me to have consultation, and you can confide in me. But I believe that if you are involved in Ruby, you will have great fun. Your life is pleasant and joyful. That is true. Therefore, I would like to make this workplace the place of fun. I said to the company management, I don't do anything else than Ruby. The bosses have their sentiment, and maybe the community has changed when comparing that from olden days. But when I joined, I said to myself, I need to be a good boss, so I should not make a mess. And I have given up being such a. So I cannot be absolute being, and from the perspective of people working under my supervision. But I started something too. So the information sharing meeting and the training and so communication have been started. I am much more positive and proactive in doing so. If there is anything, please come to me and talk about it. And so you can talk to those people. I am fine. Are you okay? And so I always try to talk to them. But starting a new thing is not easy. I was criticized in many words, in many ways by many people. But we always have support of Matt Yukihiro's support. Matt is Matsumoto-san, and his work and words were very encouraging to me. Every time I talked to I explained something to my boss, she said there is no precedent. Matt supported me.
So Matt-san always gives me great advice, and I go back to the office and I talk with the boss based on Matt-san's advice. And I was also said that if I stop, I will die. And when I start something new, technological capability of the members is very important. There are new hires, and they are now growing up. Because of that, we need to do some overtime work. But some people criticize us. It's a failure. But Matt-san always takes things in a positive manner. So he says that nice try about the failure. So I always ask Matsumoto-san to do some technical talk. I like Matsumoto-san's words. After talking to him, I get motivated and I go back to the office and work hard. So I think it is very important to have allies. So making allies is very important. So after joining the Ruby community, I try to make allies and increase our sales because we need fund, because it's a business. Then we get business from the company belonging to Ruby community, and thanks to such kind of approach, we could have good business, good sales. And the company admitted that. Company accepted that. So as a result, I can now further deploy Ruby to the company. So I now became an executive officer of the company because I was actually accepted, admitted by the company. So far I have come, but still there are some challenges remaining. That is, so we are contractor. So there are some issues and challenges for the customer side. In the Ruby community, we always talk about Ruby and programming. Some sometimes other companies' program is rather difficult to deal with. That's occasional experience. Therefore, I think how to deal with such kind of a problem is a challenge for us. And also, since we are contractor and we have to think about man hour, and sometimes of the number of the step, the keyword do not inspire us. So we want to come up with good program, and we want to make a good program with small number of bug, but however, the customer occasionally say that with this number of step, does it cost how much? Does it cost so much? And I was disappointed by listening to such a comment by the customer. But I know that we should be cost effective. What we need, what we want to make is something which function correctly and also close to Ruby's or parallels. That kind of the program Ruby's can fully understand. So because of that, we need to have more man hours. So sometimes customers say that with this number of man hours, does it take so long or does it take so much cost? But we are not working as an engineer to mass produce technological liabilities. So we would like to have a good relationship with the customers. So we also want to make allies with customers and communicate what we want to do and have a compromise each other. And also we should help the customer to understand the Ruby community and the good thing about Ruby community and Ruby. So of course, both sides have to compromise each other. And it is very important to communicate about Ruby and Ruby community to our customers. And I was often asked, why are you doing this much? And why are you motivated? Because it's fun. So when you have your favorite star, there's no reason for you not to support that favorite. So I like it. So I enjoy it and I like to work this. So I have been working alone by myself with Ruby and Ruby program, but I don't know about the Ruby community. So I thought probably in the area without Ruby community, there might be someone who's writing program alone by himself or herself. I would like such person to participate in the Ruby community. So I would like to urge such person to join us. So that's how we would like to develop our activity to all over the country. So if we change, the world will change. I now know based on my experience. So we have internet, so you may be able to do everything by yourself, but if you change and you join the Ruby community, or if you start doing that, your perception will be changed, your perspective will be changed, then you will feel world will be different. And when we make allies, then world will change more. And Matsumoto-san's grandchildren and their further grandchildren, probably they will talk about our ancestor was blah, blah, blah. So we are doing this because we enjoy it and it's fun. And I think we should actually talk each other and increase the number of allies and number of friends. So I think this is something we should not forget. We need to have the place which is comfortable and enjoyable for everyone. So that should be the keyword to create a great community. The Ruby community members are very energetic and positive and proactive. I think that this is a common characteristics of the Ruby community people. And I think it is very important to have the courage to enter a new community, new world. I think for a woman, writing Ruby program by herself alone with the Ruby community, it may be very difficult for her to get into a new community, new world. But I think it's important to call such person to join us, like a person who step backs, and even such person should be able to participate and enjoy the community. We hope to have such a community in future. So I would like to recommend for such women to join Rails Girls. So not just participation, but also coaching can be done. And there are female coach who want to do the coaching and want to do the Rails Girls activity. And if you are interested in Rails Girls, could you please contact us? I will be waiting for you. So the Rails Girls Japan members are here attending this meeting, so could you please contact any one of us? Thank you. And welcome to the Fun Ruby community. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your discussion presentation. Now we'd like to entertain some questions from the audience. If there is any question, please raise your hand and let us know. For Ms. Emori's discussion presentation, you might have some questions or maybe comment. I talked about Shimane Prefecture, and you can ask what was my destination, and I can give you a recommendation. May I break the ice and may I ask a question, Ms. Emori? So you encountered the Emori, and your life became a lot more fun. And Matt is there, Matsumoto-san's words are very, very, important for you. Cherish that word very much. So actually, Matsumoto-san, which one is actually much more important for you? Even more Matsumoto-san. 10 o'clock at night, NHK, there was actually guitar program. Fukuyama Masaharu is my favorite. Matsumoto-san, sorry, you are not the number one. Fukuyama Masaharu, very, very famous Japanese singer. Fukuyama Masaharu is the real soulmate. But Matsumoto-san, you are too. Thank you very much, and I would appreciate very much. And so while enjoying Ruby, and there are many other things you can enjoy surrounding Ruby. Thank you very much. We could learn a lot from you. Thank you, Ms. Emori.
With this, we are going to have Ruby sponsor session. We have a break now. Ruby sponsor session is started at 11:30. Thank you.